Good evening, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. This is David here, and I'm doing a series every day, Sunday to Friday, having Saturdays off from a making new video point of view at least. And I'm talking about crises and, for example, we have the electricity crisis, the water crisis, the food crisis, the inflation crisis, the war crisis, the parasite crisis, the health crisis, the breathing crisis. We just have ongoing crises. And if you're really worried about what's going on with your life, then I made another video this morning in the middle of all these videos about anxiety. I suggest you go watch it. And as regards the first 6 videos of this particular series, the link will be to the playlist will be in the notes underneath. And now we get to the crux of what I invented for myself in 1999. So as you've heard, I was working for a retirement company, consulting to them, doing some programming and writing a specification and doing some other bits and pieces. And I realized that there was very little chance that even with, maximum savings every year, before tax investments, that I probably wouldn't have enough money to retire on. I'd have to every year make sure that my income goes up by at least the amount of inflation, plus 2 or 3%. And of course, as I said in the last presentation yesterday, that everybody's inflation is different. So someone might have a 1% inflation and someone might have a 20% inflation. And my inflation is somewhere between 12 and 15% per annum because my costs are going up by that amount. And therefore, I've got to find, in the existing paradigm, I have to find that money every year. But in 1999, I decided there must be a different way of planning, and that is to reduce your cost of living every year. So imagine that I'm earning 50,000 Rand a month, and maybe I'm spending 30,000 Rand a month. And then next year, I'm earning 55,000 Rand a month if I'm lucky, because my salary goes up by 10%. And then instead of spending 30,000, maybe I'm spending 35,000 and so on. But my paradigm said, well, if I was earning 50 last year and I was spending 30, then this year I must earn 55 and I must spend 29 a month. And then next year I must earn 60 and I must spend 28. So that means that my cost of living is going down. My needs on the planet are going down. So my cost of living is going down for myself, David, and my cost of living is going down for the planet. And if you look behind me, you can see if I turn the right way, maybe if I zoom in, let me find my zooming device. I zoom in a bit, and then you'll see that behind me are the Sustainable Development Goals and the SDGs. You can go look them up. Go look up SDG. I'll put a link in the description below. And you can learn about the SDGs, about what's going on, what are people looking at. But all of the SDGs require that we reduce our cost of living for ourselves and for the planet. And then if we reduce our cost of living, then we don't need to earn so much. And if we don't need to earn so much, our stress levels go down. And our amount of cash available goes up for investments. We can talk about investments. And then that leads to an increasing quality of life because I now need less. I don't have to go and buy the new 30,000 Rand iPhone if the new 8,000 Rand iPhone is good enough for me. And maybe I wait an extra year or two. I don't upgrade every 2 years. And maybe I upgrade every 4 years. Maybe I don't even upgrade. Maybe I've prepaid and I buy the phone secondhand and then I've prepaid. That's another alternative. And every time that the service providers phone me and they say, hey, David, please, why don't you upgrade? And I say, well, can I upgrade for the same price as I'm paying now, 200 Rand a month? And they say, no, the new price is 250 a month. And I say, but then I've got to pay another 50 Rand a month. And then they say, it's only 50 Rand a month. And I say, no, I think of everything in an annual basis. So 50 Rand a month is 600 Rand a year. Someone phones you and says, hi, David, you can buy this for only 2,000 Rand a month. Doesn't sound like a lot per month. But I always think about everything in terms of how much it costs me over the year. So that's 24,000 Rand a year. Do I have 24,000 Rand a year to spend on something? Maybe I don't. Maybe I do. If I do, maybe I should say, well, do I really need it? Can I rather pay off my debt? Can I rather make some other investments? And then my quality of life increases and therefore my health increases because my stress levels go down. As you'll see in the video I made this morning about anxiety, I want my stress levels to go down. I want my fear factor to go down. I want my ability to predict the future to go up. I want my quality of life to go up. I want my cost of living to go down. I want my health to be better every year. As I get older, I must get more healthy. And yet we read that as people get older, they get more unhealthy. But that's the opposite of how it should be. So how can I get more and more healthy as I get older? And then, having done all those things, I increase my self-esteem. And it's incremental. So I do a little bit, I do a little bit, I do a little bit, and I have to wait for everything to happen before my self-esteem goes up. But my self-esteem is it's my foundation. So I can be motivated with a motivational program or an incentive program or a loyalty program that makes me feel better, but it only makes me feel better in the instant. It's like smoking a joint or having a cigarette or having a glass of whiskey or having sex or eating meat or any kind of stimulant. You have the stimulant, you feel good, maybe for half an hour, maybe for an hour, maybe for a day, I don't know. Maybe you go on holiday, you feel great on holiday, and then you come back and you've got 6 months of pain because you're paying your credit card off. Well, what's the point of the holiday? So you want to make sure that you increase your self-esteem so that and you can ask me, how do we increase our self-esteem? One way is to have values. So people say, okay, what are values? And I say, well, how do you value yourself? And one way to value yourself is to say, well, how much have my parents spent on me in my life? How much has my education cost me? How much have I been paid in my life till now? All of that, add it all up, that makes your value. My value today is about $20 million US dollars. So, if I was at an auction, hopefully I never will be in one, but if I was, then I would have to be sold for $20 million because that's the value of what's gone into making me who I am today. So, that's not how much I've been paid. I would love it if it was that, but there's so much else. There's all my own learning. There's Udemy courses. There's thousands of hours of my own private learning where I didn't earn any money. I've traveled to conferences at my own expense to learn stuff. That means that there's an opportunity cost of what I could have earned when I did that. So that can be added. There's 20 years or 21 years I lived in my parents' house. They paid for my education. They paid for my degree. I was in the UK. They paid for my MBA. So all of that stuff adds up to that value. And all of that stuff gives me evaluation. And then I get values, and I get values because of the 10 commandments and because of who I am and because of who I want to be and who I tell people I am. And people come to me for guidance and for mentoring and because I'm a navigator and I understand how to look at the signposts in the life. So my retirement planning started off with me reducing my cost of living. And over time, I realized that reducing my cost of living every year by a little bit slowly increases my quality of life. It increases my health and it increases my self-esteem. It increases my valuation. It increases the value I give to myself. It increases how I feel about myself. If someone hurts me, I'm only hurt for a minute or two. I'm not hurt forever because I've got self-esteem. If someone knocks the wind out of my sails, then maybe I fall off my chair or fall off my horse, in a spiritual sense, but it only lasts 5 minutes. 20 years ago when I got married, 25 years ago, if I had a fight with my wife, I'd be upset for a week. Now we realize we're fighting, and in 2 minutes we start talking, and then we talk it through, and maybe 10 minutes later we're back on track. And that's because we have self-esteem. It's because we've reduced our cost of living. It's because we've increased our quality of life. It's because we've increased our health. And this is not only applicable to me. This is applicable to a person who's rich, and it's just as applicable to a person who's poor. A person who's poor, who's getting a salary increase every year, doesn't have to spend their money. They've got to find a way of making things cheaper. How can they do that? Well, 100 people get together, and instead of spending 1,000 Rand a month each, which is at 10,000 Rand a month, they can go to Macro and they can go to wholesalers and buy direct. They can go to the Goodwood market if they're in Cape Town, the fruit and veg market, and buy direct because now they're buying in bulk. And therefore they can save 10, 20, 30% of their cost. If you've got 10,000 Rand and you want to go buy clothes, for example, you can go directly to the tailor and you can say, I need 100 t-shirts. And then instead of paying 100 Rand a t-shirt, maybe you only pay 20 Rand a t-shirt. And that's about just working together. That's about reducing your cost of living, increasing your quality of life, increasing your health, and increasing your self-esteem. So really think about this today and think about where you're going. Think about, can you work with your neighbors? And realize that there's immense possibility. There's immense possibility if you try to follow these principles, and especially if you work with your neighbors and your friends, your community, your soccer club, your football club, your rugby club, your matric class, your community, your synagogue, your church, your mosque, your temple, whatever it is that whatever community you're in, every single community is a possibility. Your suburb, your golf club, your golf estate, your company. There's so many possibilities. If you don't know where to look, or you need help, or you need guidance, then I'm available to help uh, corporates or clubs or community organizations. And I don't do the work for you. I show you where to look. I can do a half-day workshop for you and give you all of the guidance you need, answer the questions you need. I can give you hand holding. I'm available. And, please comment, like, subscribe, share, ask questions, and call me if you need me. I bless you and good day.